Wondering if it was worth paying to join things like production vet, especially if you're a freelancer.
I'm not on production base, I have to confess, but I was at one point. And what do you want to do?
I mean, I've done a lot with student radio, so if I'm putting an audio portfolio on now, something worth it just to see what's on there, because I know jobs come up on there, but I'm not actually a member myself, I know someone who is.
And do you know what you want to do going forwards? What's sort of your ideal sort of
I've just, I'll be starting a job soon at the BBC as a broadcast assistant, and I was just wondering if it's worth joining it in the future if I did want to start my own production company.
I was a member of Production Base for about a year. The jobs that come up tend to be freelance jobs for researchers, for assistant producers, for directors. I stopped being a member just simply because I like you say, it's all about who you know, and I only get jobs really through who I know and through the channel people that I know. So I didn't use it as a result of that. I think if you're going to become BA at the BBC, I'm not quite sure if it would be worth your money, if I'm really honest, putting onto it.
I know people who would like to sort of freelance though, and I was wondering if it was.
Yeah, I think.
Is it an option? Does it work?
Yes, it does work. People do put adverts on there, and I put adverts on there for researchers, for runners, personally, and we get their CVs back in, and I look through those CVs, and so yes, we do. All production companies do it. So if you want to go the traditional route, and if you want to work for a production company, then it is worth it, definitely, and it is where the jobs are. I mean, the other thing that you mentioned, which I thought was a really good point, is that it is really hard to get in to do work experience. Congratulations on getting a job. I did law originally, and I worked for I did an internship at a city law firm in London, and I thought it was really hard getting into there. I just wasn't prepared for how hard it was going into a small TV company in Hammersmith. Jesus Christ. I was just like, it took me 50 letters, I think, you know, and so many refusals, and this was in the late 90s, which wasn't particularly a time of high unemployment or anything. It was incredibly difficult. But it is possible, and you do have to be so persistent. And you don't just have to be persistent at that, do you? Whenever you're coming up with an idea, or even if you're just doing it for yourself, you have to be persistent really generally in television, so it's sort of a good way to start. But to do work experience somewhere, I think, is a brilliant way to find out if you actually like it or if you don't. And it's a great thing to do when you're students. So if you, like I think one of you said, to look at the companies that you like, the TV programmes that you enjoy watching, or the things that you enjoy watching online or whatever, look at who makes them, write to them, and then when they don't reply, write to them again, and when they don't reply again, find out who the series producer is, find out who the executive producer is, write to them, and be that really, really annoying person, because that really annoying person gets in eventually, and they could go onwards. I mean, we've just had somebody on work experience who was badgering me for a long time, and eventually I said, all right then, come for a week. He turned out to be brilliant, and he's in his final year, and we then said, well, do you want to come every week whilst we're doing the live shows, because he was particularly interested in live. He said yes. He came the first week. He was on work experience. He was so useful. The second week we paid him. He then was paid for the rest of the series, and because it was an evening show, he didn't really have to take out any time out of college. We then, when we had shoots and we needed a runner, we would just call him and see if he was available, and if he was, and he, you know, because he was doing his exams, he was free that day, he'd come and get paid for a day's work. And he really enjoyed it, and it's what he wants to do. And I just think, you know, if that's what you want to do, it's just go for it and just write and write and write until you get an in. But if you want to start up on your own, then these guys know much more about that.